There's a lot of things in life that we know to be facts. There are things in the world that we don't know. But such as we do know, if we are expecting to live as long a life and as meaningful of a life as possible, it behooves all of us to do those things that we know are right for us as human beings, men, women, and children. So, I want to mention to you, and I know that you're not truly ignorant to what I'm about to mention to you. We are addressing the elephant in the room as it relates to our health. There's a lot of things that we didn't know coming up from the early years in our lives as children and young adults and even older adults. Things we didn't know, things we've learned, and things we are constantly being reminded of concerning our health. But there are 5 things that contribute to our health in a negative way that we must remove from our bodies, from our existence, if you are to have what I just mentioned, a long or a longer and meaningful life. Yesterday is gone, and tomorrow none of us can claim because we don't know if we'll be here to see tomorrow. Only hope and pray that we will be here tomorrow to breathe fresh air, to have a reasonable portion of health and strength, to enjoy our family and our friends and so forth. But some of the ills that we are faced with in our lives are caused by us. Let's be honest. Let's be truthful to ourselves and with ourselves. These are some things that you must do. Number 1, stop consuming processed food. I'm just going to get right to it and finish. Processed food. Understand, comprehend. There's no food in nature, nowhere, that's processed. Everything in nature, note the base word nature, everything in nature is natural, unadulterated, not touched until industry, until man, until corporations touch it and prolong the life on shelves in some store, some grocery store, some restaurant, somewhere. They have to process it. And when they process that food item or those food items, they add a bunch of chemicals that most of us cannot pronounce and don't know what they are. That's number 1. Number 2, as much as we would love to believe that what we're consuming in a restaurant is healthy for us, it's not. Much of the restaurant foods that we consume are used with processed ingredients as well, or the foods are processed as well. They're packaged, bagged, canned, and even in jars. They are processed as well. Think about this. How often do you go to a restaurant and order something and you ask the ingredients of everything that you eat? Every single time you go to a restaurant, do you ask the chef, the cook, the manager, may I read the labels on the packages that you are preparing my food with? You don't do that. By faith, you believe that they're giving you something that's good and wholesome. That's true. and you know it. 99.9% of the population trust what they eat in a restaurant. So I guess you know number 2 is avoid restaurant food. Number 3, I'm going to say this as it relates to pharmaceutical drugs. Unnecessary drugs, avoid. I'm not telling you to go against your doctor, your physician. I'm not saying American medicine or pharmaceuticals are all bad for us, but they're not natural. And you do know that. Note my disclaimer. I'm not saying don't follow your doctor's advice. I'm not saying stop taking your medication. I'm saying to you, think. Do your due diligence, your own due diligence, and study for yourself, and you come to the conclusion. We do know medications come with a cost. If it's going to save your life for real, go ahead. Is it going to cause conditions worse than the one that you already have? That's even over-the-counter drugs. If it's going to render you with all of these different so-called side effects and some potentially death, think about it. Did you hear what I just said? Think about it. So that's number 3, unnecessary drugs, I said. Number 4, this is a big one. Avoid alcohol. Also called ethanol. It's not good for human consumption, alcohol. I know you like to get lit. You like to get a little buzz, tipsy, go out and have fun and enjoy yourself. Is that really fun? Honestly? Alcohol destroys your liver. Now, someone's going to say, well, you can drink a little bit. That's that person who loves alcohol that's trying to solidify a position of morality as it relates to giving them permission to drink, making it okay if you do it in moderation. How many people do you know do alcohol in moderation? Preach, brother teacher. How many murders, involuntary homicides have there been as a result of people drinking alcohol in moderation? Where's the measuring stick? How do you govern the individual that walks into a convenience store or liquor store buying alcohol? How do you know what their control limit is of their own faculties? How do you know that? You don't. Again, let me back up. Alcohol destroys the body internally. The liver, which is, guess what? The poison center of the body. But we overwhelm, or you, collectively speaking, I don't drink, collectively speaking, you overwhelm the liquor. Excuse me, it is liquor. You overwhelm your liver by drinking excessive amounts of alcohol. You need to ask yourself why. Why am I drinking alcohol in the first place? You like the feeling. That's it. I personally get high off of life itself. I don't need any outside stimulation to help me feel good. I'm good all by myself. And I'm not the only one, I'm sure. So, while I'm on alcohol, let me get on the drugs. The drugs that people like to say there's nothing wrong with. Marijuana, one of them. Aren't you still smoking it? You're still burning a paper, right? Where's that going? In your lungs, but you got a feeling coming after that. This euphoric feeling, smoking your weed, and you smoked it so long, it's a normal thing to you. It discolors the sclera in your eyes. That's the white part. Turns dingy yellow, brown, pulling all the nutrients out your eye. You know, it makes you dumb. It dumbs you down, even though you might think you're on top of the world. Outside of, giving you an appetite for some munchies or what have you. You don't have any control over your appetite, and you need weed or marijuana to help you along the way to make you want to eat. And after effects, some might say, why are you smoking weed in the first place? I'm not beating up on anybody. I'm just asking a question. Now, if it's medicinal, for real, so be it. I've done a video on this before. If it's medicinal, I'm not telling you not to take it if it's medicinal. I'm talking about the people who are just casual smokers just because they want to hang out with the crew or with their buddy or even by themselves, just a toke one, that kind of smoker who say, well, so I don't get caught by the police, I'm going to get me a medical license and or a permit, if you will. That's what they call them, I think, permit, a card where I can smoke medical marijuana, but for all the wrong reasons and not for medical reasons, right? You just want to be medicated. Okay. But that goes along with the alcohol. And the last thing, maybe not so last, but the last thing you want to remove from your life, if you want to live a little longer or a lot longer, is smoking. Yes, cigarettes. Let's slide that chewing tobacco in there too, because that can cause and has been known to cause mouth cancer. Yes, as the people who have acquired cancer of the mouth from chewing tobacco. That's one. But back on the smoking. Smoking is good for you. It has many, many chemicals in tobacco products. And especially with the cigars and the wraps and all of the new flavors that they have and the new flavors that they've created over the past decade. Is that good for you? Not at all. Destroying your lungs. Most people couldn't walk up a flight of steps. Those who have been smoking for quite a while. You don't have any lung capacity. I don't know why I can't breathe. My doctor said he's going to give me an inhaler. But you're still smoking cigarettes. Wow. Go figure. I want to call that person a dummy. But I love you. I really do. So, why is alcohol so prevalent? So, why is alcohol so prevalent? Because it's pushed to us. Because it's advertised. It's marketed to us. For what reason? You already know the answer. Money. Big industry wants your dollar by any means necessary. So they're going to dress up the bottles of the alcohol and the beer bottles and the beer cans, all of the packaging, of course, make it appealing to you. Nice slogans and commercials, advertisements, if you will. Cigarettes are the same, tobacco products are the same, colorful ads. They're going to put all of the right taste and flavors in, give you all of the types of deals that you are maybe looking for, because they've got you hooked. Yes, they do. But there's a price to pay. At the end of the day, much later in life for some, sooner for some others. So, let's recap what I've already mentioned to you. Look at my note here. Processed food, restaurant food, unnecessary drugs, alcohol and smoking. As it relates to food, get back to the conventional way of making your own meals at home, preparing your own meals at home. Now, if that's challenging to you, oh well, do you want to live a little longer? It's going to take a little bit more time. Maybe you should manage your time a little bit better and factor that in to your plans, your daily routines. Preparing your own meals again, or preparing your meals more often than you do, and stop making the restaurant industries wealthy. Honestly, there's one thing I was going to add: remove unnecessary stress. Life is stressful enough just living on this planet. All of the pollution, all of the toxic air, water, and the toxins in our foods, we deal with those things all of the times. But listen to this before I go. Even toxic people, I'll put that in there. Control that which you have within your ability or your means to control, and you'll live longer. You'll feel better. You'll be healthier. You'll think better. Then you can relax even more from some of the stresses that life places on us. Whatever you control, whatever you have the ability to control, then take control of those things. This includes toxic people in your life. That could be family members as well. Think about it. This is Brother Teacher. That was it. And that was all.